Anne-Marie here. So today I wanted to go live with a new friend of mine whose name is Alex and is going to join me in a few minutes because we want to talk to you about a new project we will have going on soon in the Lisbon area. So as you know, I am a fertility and emotional healing therapist. I work mainly with women going through unexplained infertility, but also going through fertility treatment like IVF and other kind of treatment, working with them the emotional side of the fertility journey. And I can see that Alex is already here, and I'm going to invite him in so that we can talk a bit about. So let's see if he comes in. He also works, part of his work is also in the fertility area. Hi, Alex.
Hello, hi.
How
How
are
are you?
you?
Yeah, very good. So nice to see you.
Nice to see you. So yeah, we're 10 minutes out, but like we're both parents, so it's completely normal that sometimes we don't manage to be
To
exactly on
plan.
time putting kids to sleep. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, very good. Yeah, I'm very happy to talk to you and do this event. I'm quite excited about it. Yeah,
Amazing.
and
Do you want to just say a bit about your work first,
yeah,
maybe? Yeah?
sure, of course. Yeah. So I'm working with Chinese medicine and shiatsu. On the side of Chinese medicine, mainly with herbal medicine. I have a wonderful wife who's doing acupuncture, so I basically leave this whole part to her. And yeah, focusing on the herbs, but it's the same system. And yeah, apart from Chinese herbs, I practice shiatsu. That is like a body work that is using the meridian theory and acupuncture points, but it's also about going into a state of resonance a lot with the client and yeah, it has many layers to it. It's yeah, but it's based on Chinese medicine and yeah, I've been into the topic of fertility, like the first time fertility in Chinese medicine 4 years ago. I was doing a shiatsu course about it, and since then actually, I studied more about it because I found that a lot of clients of mine are kind of yeah related to this topic, and so I just started to study more. Yeah, and find it very interesting. And yeah, we can go in more into detail later. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the exchange we had, like we're gonna have because we already talked a bit, and think it's two very interesting perspectives we're gonna meet. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Uh, well, basically, we met at a place where we were both working, and we started to chat around everything that you were doing, I was doing, and we found this common thread around fertility, and we exchanged quite a lot. And like what I've seen talking with Alex, and I think we're like quite aligned on that. We've seen in our fertility clients, and the fertility topic comes up almost in every woman, I would say, more or less, right? Not always around having a baby, but there's always some kind of challenge maybe around their fertility. But what we've seen is that there's a lot of focus given onto the body, but not so much onto the holistic view of women. So helping them in terms of their emotions, how we can support them better
Mhm.
in terms of all the layers that the body has from within to the outside, but not focusing only on the treatment, on the steps, on the medical side of it. And because also what we do is so complementary in terms of what you do, what your wife does as well, and what I
Mhm.
do. We decided to create something special for people in the Lisbon area. So we don't know yet where it's going to be, but it will be
Yeah.
in the Lisbon area.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. The intention is really to provide people with all the layers that we three are touching in our work and provide as much information as we can to women that are on the fertility journey.
Yeah, and also to men because they're involved as well. But it's mostly more the women who investigate more into it. But of course, like the men are
Yeah,
important.
actually, I'm curious as you bring men into the conversation, do you have or did you have any experience with men with regards to the fertility journey as well?
Actually, as like clients, I didn't have experience with men, but I know that it's because I feel yeah somehow men are just not as open as women to yeah holistic treatments and treatments that involve also more like the layers of the mind and the subconscious, which is a pity, but it's as it is right now. There are men who are interested, but yeah, I didn't have the um, pleasure yet to guide somebody in this journey. Um, but yeah, actually, the women part is much more complex than for men. For men to help, it's rather simple, um, and to support women, it's like at least in Chinese medicine, it's more complex because women are like cyclical beings and men not so much.
Yeah, 24-hour cycle every day, right? It's just repeat, and we're like the roller coaster every month. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Actually, in the treatment, it's when I was studying into the topic, it's quite interesting that in Chinese medicine, the treatment for if you want to support like a woman in fertility, you actually have to go always in the part like treat exactly the organs and the stage she's in the circle at that moment. So you can, for example, when you give herbs, you
Mm.
cannot give one herbal formula and she takes this for like several months, but you have to make four for four parts of the cycle, and they she has to take them. So it's much more complex than for men. For men, you would just give one and give it for like 3 months, and it's probably gonna work. Yeah, so it's just rather simple.
Yeah, that's a very like a nice perspective because I of course I know the cycle, but the eye through Chinese medicine, it's going to be very interesting also to have
Mhm.
your input on that and
Yeah.
understand. I guess it's also the intention for women to understand themselves better because I think that we were talking right about men and women, and I'm looking at my own life, and basically most of my clients are going through the same thing, right? When you grow up and when you start working, most of the workplaces they ask you women to compete with men, so it's like we have
Mhm.
to, we have to become men or to compete with
Yeah.
men, and so I think we get completely outside of being in tune with our cycles and understanding it's
Mhm.
normal that we react a different way. We have I guess even a better capacity than men, but we don't know how to deal with that. So it's like
Mhm.
we always feel we're different. So
Mhm.
I think that's really nice to have a lot of information around how we work and understanding that complexity is something good, but needs to be understood, right? I think most women are on this, not really understanding how their body works, how their
Mhm.
mind work. And so I find that's really nice that we can put all of this knowledge together and provide all of this information to women that are on the fertility journey.
Yeah.
I've been speaking to a lot of women because, as you know, I work with many women that are
Mhm.
going through treatment, going through IVF, or that are trying to get pregnant naturally. And a lot of the feedback I get is really that there is no help on the emotional side, but also in terms of education of, how their body work.
Mhm.
So it's I feel like today more and more women want to have this kind of information and understand themselves better and understand their cycle,
Mhm.
understand um, why we function in a different way, why we are completely different people, men and women, in terms of how we think, how we act, but also like those cycles, right? Men are very,
Mhm.
very regular. And as you were saying, like you give the herb and the herb works today, tomorrow,
Yeah.
next week, next month, it's the same. But then for women, it's yeah, very interesting to hear your perspective, that you really have to like study what moment of the cycle she's in to be able to tell her exactly what she needs in every moment.
Yeah. I can not share from personal experience, of course, but just like observing my wife, who is also hopefully gonna join the next call and the events also if we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So she can share like from the female perspective as well and TCM. Um, but um, yeah, the in Chinese medicine, the cycle is like as mostly almost everything in the like Chinese medicine perspective, kind of divided in a yin and a yang side. So like a restful and passive in the active transformative side, and basically like the time after the ovulation is the yang part, and um, uh, yeah, the from the like the first day on to mid circle is the yin part of the cycle, and I was reading like an interesting book from an Australian TCM practitioner, and she said that you can by basically tracking the body temperature, like the base body temperature, what many women use for like yeah getting to know their cycle and understanding it better. You can actually use this in order to see if like the yin and yang are in balance, or if like they have like a very short cycle or a very long cycle, or certain parts of the cycle are more long or shorter. You can understand which energy should be strengthened. Yeah, and yeah, so in every part, like a different energy of the organs is important to function well and also to be strengthened. And like basically I mean, the Chinese medicine is like quite a different concept, but they're like for fertility in the Chinese medicine perspective, actually the kidneys and the uterus, of course, and the heart are the most important organs. Um, and it's quite interesting to understand why it's these organs. The kidneys in TCM have a different role than in Western medicine. They're actually seen as the organ that supports the life's essence, which is like a substance you get a certain amount by birth. It would yeah, it's kind of like the genetic blueprint more or less that and also a certain reservoir of um, they say like pre-heaven is energy, like the energy you get before you're born, and it's basically declines just with your life. And if it reaches zero, then you die on a natural death. So it's just the aging basically, and this is stored in the kidneys, and that's like the amount of energy you need for the physical conception in order to have like healthy sperm or healthy eggs and yeah, like healthy genetic material. And so if this is like deficient, like over a certain threshold where you cannot help with herbs anymore, like at a certain point you can help with herbs, but if it's very deficient, then you cannot help with herbs either. Then it's very difficult to conceive in a natural way. So that's like the one simplified, the one important part, and the other one is the heart, and that's actually where interesting, because the heart is mostly related with the clarity of mind and emotions. So in the Chinese medicine theory, it has like a very clear, like as important as the age basically is the emotional state. Um,
Mm-hmm.
um, like it has the same importance for for getting pregnant, and even like in the TCM physiology, there is a there is a vessel, like a meridian, that is connecting the heart and the uterus. And the function from the heart is actually to make the uterus open at the right time. And if there is whatever, some mental confusion, or like the heart is just not, the heart and the mind is not in its right place due to emotional stress or whatever, then this physiological process is not working. So that's quite interesting. I think that,
Wow.
yeah, that they many thousand years already, like they described this very clear, that there's this connection. It's not just on the. I mean, we know now also, right? Like in more scientific terms, that there's of course interactions always between emotions and body, but yeah, I found it really interesting to see that it's such, like it has the same importance as the age basically, or like your um, yeah, the your primal health, you could say.
Yeah, it's very interesting to hear this perspective, and then actually took notes because I didn't want to forget what I was thinking as you were talking. But it's
Mhm.
like it's the same words and the same thing I've seen. I'm going to tell you in a few
Mhm.
seconds, but with a whole different perspective of Chinese medicine. So you were talking about like the temperature and the temperature helping you understand if you're in a yin or a yang state, right? In terms of how the cycle goes.
Yeah,
I
right.
have a lot of clients that have tried because there's a lot of information online in terms of taking your temperature, and it means that you're in that moment of the cycle and it's good or it's not good. And then you're on forums on Facebook and you see so many like uh, there's a lot of helpful information, but there's also a lot of negative things going on because it's like you're already in a very challenging journey, and then
Mhm.
you're not only living your emotions, you end up living your emotions and the emotions of all of the women that are dealing
Yeah,
with and
right.
their own journey. So it's also like a turmoil of emotions. It can be
Mhm.
good because you feel like you're part of the community, but at the same time, but anyway. So I see a lot of women that look into their temperature. And when you talk about the yin and the yang, that makes me think that like what I see a lot in the women I work with is that they are mostly in their masculine, so in the yang.
Mhm.
And obviously a baby looks for feminine energy
Yeah,
to
yeah.
to be to be conceived, to be born. So it's that part of the openness and the feminine obviously needs to be worked on, whatever tool you work with, and that's really nice to hear your perspective on that. And, and then you talked about the heart, and that really resonated as well because what I see in the women I work with, so obviously I work with hypnotherapy, and in my work we mostly, I would say more than 80% of the time, go back to childhood and understanding that something
Mhm.
back in time contracted the body. And
Mm.
so to receive, you need to be open.
Yeah.
So what I see that there's a contraction, and you were talking about the heart, right? If the heart is not
Mhm.
open, then
Yeah.
the conception can't occur. I obviously think about the heart, but I was mostly thinking about the womb. But it's very nice to
Mhm.
hear that. So it's like the body needs to be open. And what I see is
Mhm.
that there's a contraction, there's a fear, I don't really like the word trauma because sometimes it doesn't have to be something very big. It just means that there is something I gave a meaning to and my body contracted, my body is in defense and it's not open to receive. So that's
Mm.
that work that I do, but it resonates completely with what you're saying in terms of, if the heart is not open, if emotionally the person is not balanced, maybe she's in fight or flight, or there's some kind of fear around either conception, pregnancy, for whatever reason, for
Mm.
whatever she might have heard as a child with regards to having a baby, or whatever she's seen in her mom, or in the women around her or whatever she's been through, because I see that a lot, and I shared that with you last time. A lot of my clients go back to their own conception, their own pregnancy in their mother's belly. So it's like it goes back in
Yeah.
time, that the body gets this signal
Mm.
that then you're an adult, you have found the right partner, you have the house, you have the, the money, the situation, the work, and oh, now I'm ready to get pregnant. It's
Mhm.
now. But
Mm.
then the body might not be thinking exactly the same as we are consciously wanting in the moment.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like very nicely put, and it's like you're bringing a different perspective, but it aligns completely with at the same time with what I've seen, but you're seeing it from a
Mhm.
different perspective. And also to see, like, I know hypnotherapy is like old. Sometimes they talk about like Egyptians already doing it and everything,
Okay.
but it's like it's everything that you do and that your wife does is also something that is like has been existing for like millions of years, right? So it's like it's nothing new. We're not inventing anything. So it's really bringing all of these sciences and ways, because maybe one thing will talk to a woman a certain way and something else will touch another woman another way. So the intention here is really to bring our experience together
Mhm.
and give them those different perspectives of the same prism, so that
Yeah.
they can get out of um, everything that we have to share, so that they can like change something in their day to day and make what they want to work, right?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Very nicely said. What is in your experience? What are the things that really um, move something or change something when you in terms of emotions, like when you help them unblock or release certain emotions through the methods you use, like hypnotherapy? What is there like, do you see kind of a pattern in what type of events or emotions are hindering the pregnancy journey?
So in terms of the people that come to me today, like I look back on the 6 years I've been doing that, and I can see that a lot of my clients were surprise babies or babies that were not expected, or had some kind of challenge around the moment they were born. So like a traumatic birth or something like that.
Yeah.
So a lot come back to that, like as a pattern in terms of my clients. Now, when you ask me, what do you think really makes the shift?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I was saying, like, we grow up, right? We're an adult, we're ready to have a kid, and it's not happening. And then women start to question themselves, their body, everything. And the thing is, we have grown. We are in an adult body, ready to be able to have a baby. But for whatever reason, inside of us, we'll still have that little kid reacting to something that has happened. So consciously, we are grown up and we are ready, but
Yeah.
something inside of us might be dealing with something else.
Yeah.
So what you manage to do with the hypnotherapy work that I do is that they manage to look back and go to that moment and understand, wow, that's why I
Mm-hmm.
have this reaction in my body, or that's why my body is reacting a certain way. It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with that moment. And the ability for you to see that moment, to understand why you are reacting like that, understanding yourself better, takes a lot of the blame out and a lot of the contraction out, because basically it's just the body reacting to something that you don't even remember most of the
Yeah. Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
You don't even know, you don't even like consciously you wouldn't even point to that moment most of the times, but it's just the understanding and the you adult being able to see it and understand it makes a very big
Mm.
transformation in terms of Wow, okay, I understand. It has nothing to do with me. And
Mm.
so maybe I can choose to believe in something different and choose something different for me. Yeah. So yeah.
Ah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. It's so interesting how like there's this apparent like this somehow body consciousness or deeper subconsciousness in the ordinary conscious mind, and it seems like when they meet, like the everyday consciousness meets something that is stored, then just the awareness of it is already bringing so much release, right? It's yeah, it's very interesting, and I also think that in what the process you described before, like women seeking for help, like in forums or something like this, or just stressing themselves already, um, you kind of go down in a circle, no? Like when you have this expectation to get pregnant, then you don't, and then you stress yourself, and then this has more negative influence.
Yeah. I
Um,
think it's a very lonely process. So even today, I was talking to a woman. She's almost 30 years old, so she's quite young still, and she can't talk to her friends because they don't understand what she's going through, IVF, the process, the treatments. So it's like it's very, very lonely. And then depending on the relationship, sometimes it's very open and fine, or sometimes you don't want to, you don't want to worry your husband, and your husband doesn't want to worry you. And so there's a disconnection that's created because everyone wants to protect each other. But then you can't talk to maybe the parents because the parents are asking all the time when the kid is coming. Maybe you don't want to talk to your friends because they don't understand. Maybe they don't even want to get pregnant yet, right? So it's like
mm,
I think people look for those communities because they feel very lonely. So it has a very good purpose, right? I know a lot of
yeah,
people that said that they got information.
yeah,
Maybe you can even get pregnant because of, like an advice or get to know like a therapist or something or a good clinic. So I understand there's a lot of good things, but when you're not on a good day, right? And it's like when you have when you get the flu and you don't know what you have and you go on Google and you put all of your symptoms and then
yeah,
you get the worst description ever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like if you're off in terms of how you are feeling on that day, you're
Mm,
emotionally off, you're not in a good place, and you go on those forums thinking that you're going to get something to get better.
mm,
I'm not sure that's the right place to go. So
yeah,
maybe like put the intention of what you're going to do there before you just go and on the forums, because what I feel is that when you're not in a good place, or when you're going through challenges, or when you just had not such good news and you go on there and you're suddenly have the rush of all of the negatives from other people or the positives from other people, but you're not in a place of detachment, like you're taking all in,
right.
it can be very difficult in terms of one roller coaster is enough. You don't need to have to deal with the roller coaster of everybody. So that's where I think the intention with which you go to the forum need to be very clear before you go on. So there's a lot of positive, but I've seen a lot of not so positive as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because people just share their experience no matter what, if they're good or negative, right? Because everybody wanna dump their emotions somewhere. So, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think also there's a lot, like you see a lot of posts that say, you know, how to talk to a couple going through infertility, or like trying to educate other people as to they should be, um, how they should be with you. And that's all fine to a certain point, but I can't expect the other to tell me exactly what I want to hear. It's like, you can't expect your wife to say all the time what you want to hear, and she can't expect, that's
yeah,
that's not
sure.
how
Yeah,
things work.
it's
So
not
it's like building this inner certainty, right? Not with regards to what's outside, but like the emotional state you're in, how you see your journey, and the understanding of yourself is so important, so that you get to a place where it hurts less. Because you know yourself. You're not just permeable to whatever happens and whatever they say to you and whatever you hear, because we can't control what's going out from other people's mouth, right? So we need to. That's what I do also with my clients. I help them build that inner knowing so that they don't expect so much from the outside, but the inner is built, and then whatever comes on the outside feels a lot different.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the person who is actually should be just mostly involved is the partner. The other people around are not necessarily so helpful, I think, because they often, like relatives, they have a lot of ideas themselves that even the couple don't agree, right? And then this type of moments when you seek help, it's good, they want to help, but also it happens that just their wish and yeah, maybe also pushes the leak in and can create stress
Yeah.
and tension in a relationship.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe sometimes it's all about our expectations. We expect, our friends to react a certain way or our parents to help us a certain way. And then
Mm.
the expectation is the challenge sometimes because we expect things to happen a certain way and then it doesn't. It's the same thing. I expect I will become pregnant. The next day I decide to have a baby with my partner, right? That's
Mhm.
usually what happens, right? And like I understand maybe not every couple, but usually, you've been building so much. When you're ready, you're ready. You want it to happen the next cycle, right? You're not thinking it's going to take a year or 2 years or 3 years or more, right? So it's like, I think the whole thing is really dealing with the expectation we have with regards to our own journey, but also with regards to, what we expect from other people and all of that.
Mhm.
So I think there's a lot, but it's always from the inside out. And I understand maybe in your energetic work, you must be seeing that in with a different perspective again, but you must be feeling that, like, if the person is closed, is open, like, yeah, I'm curious to hear you a bit about that part of the work that you do as well.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, One thing I just had in mind now, what I wanted to say, is that before I'm gonna answer, like, talk about this also, is that I think it's very helpful to like, basically also about the expectations, but to also know and check about the physical state of the body if it's ready to conceive or to like that for the man to have healthy sperm at that moment, because if it's not, then one should not go into this cycle of despair in the mind yet, right? Because you can actually help the body a lot, and like to see, okay, is actually the for women now, like this the cycle, is it good and regular and healthy and everything, and if not, then like just working on this first for like 3 months at least, and then just having expectations, okay, now everything should be right, and then it's kind of like expectations that should meet reality somewhat, right? But if people are just like, okay, I want to get pregnant now, but I didn't look at my body actually. If it's am I actually capable of doing it right now? Like maybe okay on an intellectual level of having financial resources or whatever, but in a also like physical or yeah like more manifest grounded way. Are my like organs strong enough? Do I actually have enough energy and am I like charged, right? Like, or am I just sprinting from like this modern goal-oriented, thing like achievement? Now I did this, now I achieved this position, and now I'm gonna have a baby or whatever. Then it's just also kind of life saying
Yeah.
no, stop, take a break from this trip you're on. It's not life, actually. Yeah, so I think that's also good to just check in this and like yeah, with Chinese medicine and herbs, like usually the minimum time to treat the body is 3 months with herbs, and like yeah, taking different herbs for every circle. Um, and I think it's good if people know about it a bit, that there are these ways of, because in Chinese medicine it's a different approach of dealing with the body than in modern medicine, which is a lot about kind of eliminating diseases or like things that are wrong in the body. But TCM has, there's also like the approach of getting like pathogens out and stuff. But big part of it is actually to strengthen organs that are weaker than others, or just a lot of tonifying and balancing and moving energy, like moving stuck energy and stuck emotion
Hmm.
correlates. So I think it's important to do something on this level as well. Um, no, wait, what did you
I was asking you because I know you do also a bit of energetic work, and
yeah, yeah.
I was asking with regards to, maybe you were saying that right now, your thoughts, your emotions, they translate into a reaction in the body, right? So it will so I don't know exactly the words that you use, but you were saying like tonifying, or maybe
Mhm.
it weakens one organ and then it has an impact on the next one that works after this one, right? So everything has an impact. Emotions correspond to an organ, and then it has an impact on the whole body, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I was wondering, in terms of like the energetic work that you do,
Mhm.
um, how do you sense that when you feel like the person might be open, close, protecting, maybe like fearful? How do you feel that? Just to understand a bit this part.
Okay. Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think on many different levels and like layers, and I try to then just take different sources of information together and create a image out of it. And what I think is quite like a natural process, how every human perceives reality anyway, taking different sources. But one is just intuition, just how I perceive a body, like another person. Um, then another is also like in Chinese medicine, there are different ways of diagnosing. For example, like looking at the face. The
Mhm.
face can show a lot about how the organs are. Like the constitution of a person is like kind of their body type. If somebody's, like slim and tall, or more like strong and short or whatever, kind of the
The
pri-
body translate, right? All the time. Yeah. The body is translating all of the time what's happening
yeah,
in terms of emotions and in feelings and thoughts, and the
yeah,
body is translating, that all the
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, and and then there are also like checking the pulse, for example. The pulse, it can read the state of the organs with like pulse diagnosis.
Nice.
It's this is more on the physical level, and then in shiatsu we learned like a diagnosis of the, like we check certain areas in the abdomen, and this I feel gives quite a good picture of sensing the emotions, like the emotional state in each organ. It's not so physical like in with the pulse, but there I can, for example, check like the heart, how does the area feel, and like often it's like either good and balanced, or it's kind of feels a bit weak, or it has a certain emotion, or it's like very how to say, like an excess. So there's a lot going on, and also the other organs, just sensing more the emotions that are there. And as I said before, already, like in Chinese medicine, actually like every organ is kind of correlating to a certain emotion. It's like it's a bit more complex than this also, but there are certain emotions that can affect each organ when there's, for example, excessive, like any excessive emotion can harm the organ.
Yeah,
Uh,
as you were saying, when it's stuck, right? you were saying, right? Then we
Yeah.
can feel something, but if we make it, we give a meaning to it, and that's it, and I let go, then the organ won't keep that energy, right? But if
Yeah.
I really stop time on that emotion that I'm feeling, I give it a meaning, and it means something about me, and it will mean something about me for my whole life, then for sure that that energy gets stuck in that
Mhm.
place. And 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 that's what you were saying, right? The intention is to make this thought change, whether working, at a mind level or working on the body with herbs and
Mhm.
with practice, and
Mhm.
making this energy flow again, and the body don't get stuck in that moment, in that emotion. Or yeah, really nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it's so interesting. I feel that somehow, like, well, it's kind of my theory, but like, what makes the emotion and the energy stuck is basically just the fear of being seen in a way, you know? Because if you see it, then like if the person sees it, then it's released, and okay, maybe there's a reaction like crying or whatever. But it's a very interesting like protective mechanism from the body. That's yeah.
Yeah, what I see, and like, I'm conscious of time. It's been more than an hour that we're
Oh,
together, but it feels like we could spend the whole week just speaking, as we've been doing every time we sit down together. But you made me think about something now. What I see happening in women, and again, we started with that, right? Women are made of cycles, and that's why we're so different. But
mhm,
it's like what I've seen in women is that the moments of rushing of hormones. So I would say first you have puberty and adolescence, then you have maybe you're going through a fertility treatment. So there is a lot of hormones given to the body in that moment, or during pregnancy or postpartum, or later on in the menopausal years. What do I see in those moments? I see that this hormonal turmoil that women go through bring to the surface everything that we've tried to push away. So it's
mhm,
like we have drawers, we've put that memory there, and I don't want to see it. But when there's that rush of hormones,
mhm,
everything that you haven't dealt with before comes to the surface, and it's very complicated not to see it or
mhm,
not to look at it.
mhm.
So then people will choose if they want to look at it or not. But I feel like, at least in women, I see that the body has this way of
Right.
making you
Yeah,
look at it.
not like
I've even heard a
yeah.
therapist, so I can't remember who it was. I would really want to remember, but they said that a very complicated menopause is teenage years that were not at all like good or well dealt with. And so
Okay.
you put everything in the drawer. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at whatever. But then the menopause comes, it's a rush. And we know that some women go through very difficult time, and other women still have symptoms, of course, right? From 40 years old, the hormone starts to decrease. So it's normal to have symptoms. But you see that some women really have like immense symptoms, and it's very complicated for
Mhm,
them. And others will tell you, yes, I have symptoms, I have better days, not so good days, but it's not a big thing. And so that was like a quite a good realization that, like, actually in women, the body creates the opportunity for us to look at whatever was forgotten or not seen, or not wanted to be seen. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is it's good. It's a good mechanism. Yeah, that men are lacking. There's like
Men can hide and not look at
yeah,
emotions maybe easily, but you will tell me, right?
yeah. I mean, the times are also changing. I think back then when men used to go to wars and stuff, they could let their emotions out there. Now it's yeah. If you do sport, it's a good way for men, but
Yes.
it's I mean it's more like releasing, right? It's not but anyway, it's very fundamental for men's health also to do this. Yeah, so don't want to put it down, but yeah, I think it's generally a very different way of dealing with emotions, men and women. Yeah, and
It's just finding what makes sense to each of us, right?
yeah, 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 and I think it's a good journey to understand like more how the emotional world works for both. Because I feel it's also quite like just in these generations now that there's actually like a talk about it, like male emotions, female emotions, and them sharing with each other, which is
Yeah.
great. Yeah,
Similarities, big differences,
yeah. Like
all
understand.
of the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's good that this is happening. Yeah.
So, thank you so much, Alex. It was a really nice chat. And maybe what we want to say again is that we're planning to do an event together with Alex and his wife, Killian, as well. And the
Mhm.
intention is to create a space where we can help support you on your fertility journey, whatever you're going through right now, bringing our knowledge in terms of the body, the mind, and what you can do to support your journey. So we'll give more information on that quickly. We have created a questionnaire, so we've already put it in our story today. But the intention is really
Mhm.
to get information from you if you are in the Lisbon area. If it's something that would interest you, to understand what are your needs, so that we can also
Mhm.
create
Yeah,
that event. So that it helps you the best way. So we've created it's a few questions. It's quite quick to answer, but it gives us the understanding of what you're going through, what would be your intention, your expectation, and we can create the event based on that.
yeah,
And so that's the first part. And we're planning also to go live within a few days again. So we will say when it is, and hopefully we can have Killian join as well and keep the conversation going and maybe give a bit more information about what we're planning to do. And yeah, I feel like it's going to be something really amazing for women. I really see that lacking as we were like talking together. There's
Mhm.
this emotional support that's really lacking for women, and I think there's something beautiful that can be done around here.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's something great we can create, and yeah, as you said, like yeah, everybody can really support us a lot by sharing what they need to know. Then we can yeah create the event exactly by about answering these questions. And yeah, next time preferably we can do the live during the day, so my wife can join as well.
Yes, we'll do that.
Bring a lot
Of
of
course.
good experience as well, like from a woman and Chinese medicine practitioner. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you very much, Alex. I'll see you very soon for
Yeah.
another chat. And thank you everyone who has joined us during the live. It was really nice to see all your names showing up and it feeling like we've been providing some good information and energy tonight with regards to that topic. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Bye
Thanks.
bye.
Bye bye. Ciao.